Welcome to the video tutorial on how to configure an SNPP carrier in NotePager Pro to send text messages or pages. In this tutorial, we'll be going over what the SNPP protocol is and how to use it for messaging. SNPP stands for the Simple Network Paging Protocol and is a protocol that is typically used by paging companies like Spoke and American Messaging, as well as enterprise-level SMS solutions like Verizon's eMag and AT&T's Enterprise Paging Network. To start, we'll want to go to Carriers, Add. Next, we'll want to give the carrier a name. The name is completely arbitrary and can be anything you like, but I do recommend something straightforward like Spoke or eMag. Change the protocol to SNPP. In the host field, enter the SNPP server address you want to connect to. For a list of known SNPP hosts, have a look at the SNPP section of our support site, link below. Next, click Advanced. In the port field, specify the port required by the SNPP host. Most hosts use port 444, but double-check with your host to be sure. The max characters field is half of a two-part equation in NotePager Pro. The carrier max characters field determines the maximum number of characters that a single message may contain, and the recipient max characters determines the number of characters you want to send to that person. For example, let's say that we're sending pages. Most pagers can only accept messages in blocks of 240 characters, so we would want to set the max characters for the carrier to 240. But let's say we set the recipient value to 1200 or even 2000, and then we send a 400-character message to that pager. NotePager Pro would break that message up into one 240-character message and one 160-character message. For SMS, you'll want to use 160 characters, and for pages, set it to 240. If your host can only accept a certain number of messages in a single session, specify that number in the message limit field. For more information about the priority value field here, have a look at the Prioritizing Your Messages video tutorial on our support site. If your SNPP host requires authentication, enter it into the password field. Some hosts just require a password, which you can enter into the field. Some hosts require a username and a password, and you want to enter both into the password field separated by a space. When you use authentication with the SNPP protocol, all authentication is passed in the LOGI statement. So if your SNPP host requires a username and password, they must both be passed in the same statement, separated typically by a space. When finished, click Back, then click Apply to add the carrier to the list. Now all that remains is adding a recipient that uses the new carrier. To do that, go to Recipients, Add. Give the recipient a name. Select your SNPP carrier from the list, and in the ID, enter the 10-digit cell phone number with no spaces or dashes, or the pager number required by the host. Click Advanced, then set the max characters value to the number of characters you want to be able to send to this recipient. Click Back, then click Apply. Click OK, and your recipient is now available to message. This concludes the video tutorial on how to create an SNPP carrier to send SMS or pages in NotePager Pro. For more information, including how to configure the other internet and hardware methods of delivery, please visit our website, www.notepage.net.